Chapter 16, the Daimoku of the Honman teaching. The invocation of the Daimoku literally translates as great title, referring to chanting the title of the Lotus Sutra, of true Buddhism means to exert ourselves in the practice of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo with faith in the Daigo Hanzen of the high sanctuary of true Buddhism. On April 28, 1253, the founder Nichiren Daishonin stood at the top of a hill at Mount Seicho and solemnly chanted the Daimoku of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo to the entire universe for the first time. The Daimoku of, quote, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, unquote, is more than just the title of the Lotus Sutra. It is the essence of the Lotus Sutra. Moreover, it is the Daimoku of the Buddhism of the sowing of the true cause, the original enlightenment of the true Buddha, Nichiren Daishonin. The Daishonin states in the Gosho, Soya Nyodo Dono Moto Gohenji, we have already entered the age of Mappo. Those possessing a relationship with Shakyamuni have all gradually disappeared. The two capacities for the expedient and for the true have already expired. Now, in the latter day of the law, it is the time for Bodhisattva Fukyo to emerge and teach the Lotus Sutra to the people in Mappo, who all have a relationship with him. Our contemporary scholars, however, are propagating Hinayana Buddhism, or provisional Mahayana teachings. Even if there were scholars who taught the one vehicle of the Lotus Sutra, they would have no idea why they were propagating the 5 characters of Myoho Renge Kyo and implanting the seed of Buddhahood. Gosho, page 778. These followers of Shakyamuni, who heard the Lotus Sutra directly from him, had received the seed of Buddhahood in the infinitely remote past of Kuan-ganjo. They were able to accumulate good causes through their practice of Buddhism, and as a result, all attained enlightenment either during Shakyamuni's lifetime in India or in the next 2 millennium after his passing, during the former Shoho and the middle days Zoho of the law. In contrast, those born during the age of Mappo are people of Honmai Uzen. They have never received the original seed of Buddhahood in their past existences. No matter how sincerely they believe in the teachings of Shakyamuni's Buddhism of the harvest, they do not possess the fundamental seed to begin with. It is therefore impossible for it to germinate and grow. These individuals must first receive the seed of Buddhahood. Nichiren Daishonin, the true Buddha in Mappo, alone revealed the Daimoku of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, the original seed of Buddhahood of Kuan-ganjo. He plants this seed directly into the lives of all living beings. The Daimoku chanted by the Daishonin is the mystic law of his inner enlightenment originally inherent in his life from Kuan-ganjo, time without beginning. It is the seed of Buddhahood with which he alone is endowed and which he directly sows into the lives of people of Mappo. Furthermore, it is the Daimoku of actual Ichinen Sanzen, the entity of the Gohanzen of true Buddhism. The attainment of Buddhahood for us, the people in Mappo, is assured when we believe in the Gohanzen of true Buddhism. This Gohanzen is the very entity of the life of the Daishonin and the entity of the law to which he is eternally enlightened. When we chant the Daimoku of, quote, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, unquote, we are able to achieve Kyochi Myogo, the harmonious fusion of ourselves with the Gohanzen, the Daimoku of the original seed of enlightenment. The Daishonin teaches in, quote, the 14 slanders, unquote, Matsuno Dono Gohenji. Is there a great difference between the blessings a sage receives when he chants the Daimoku and the blessings we receive when we chant it? However, if one chants the Daimoku while acting against the intent of this sutra, there is indeed a difference. Gosho, page 1046. The Daishonin explains in this Gosho passage that there is no difference between the benefits of the Daimoku chanted by the true Buddha and the Daimoku chanted by an ordinary person. However, he warns his readers that they will receive no true benefits if they chant the Daimoku while committing slanders against the soul of the Daishonin. Today, there are people who earnestly chant this wondrous Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, yet they have chosen the wrong object of worship and pray to statues of Buddhas and place their faith in heretical teaching. They do not understand or are unable to differentiate between the Daishonen's Buddhism of the sowing and Shakyamuni's Buddhism of the harvest. Due to this confusion, they end up worshiping Shakyamuni as Buddha and Nichiren Daishonin as a Bodhisattva. Consequently, they scorn the Gohonzon inscribed by the Daishonin while they venerate statues of Shakyamuni. There are also people who distort the Daishonin's true teaching by destroying the transmission of the lifeblood heritage of the law entrusted to only one person. Since these people are going against the true intent of the Daishonin, no matter how much they chant the same Daimoku, they will not accumulate any merit. Instead, they will incur more and more negative causes as the result of their slanderous acts. In the Gosho, quote, admonitions against slander, unquote, Soya Dono Gohenji, the Daishonin warns us, even if one believes sincerely in the Lotus Sutra, if one violates any of its teachings, he will be making the cause to fall into hell. This is comparable to 1,000 jugs of lacquer being ruined by a single crab leg. The point is expounded in the passage of the Lotus Sutra which states, quote, the poison has penetrated deeply, causing them to lose their true minds, unquote. Gosho, page 1040. This passage gives us strict instructions. We may think that we have faith in the Lotus Sutra and are correctly following the Daishonin's teachings. However, if we misinterpret even a single phrase of the teachings, venerate the wrong object of worship, or practice erroneous teachings, then not only will we fail to accumulate good fortune, but we will be adding more negative causes to fall into a hellish condition. The Daimoku of faith and practice. There are two aspects to this, quote, Daimoku of true Buddhism, unquote. One is the, quote, Daimoku of faith, and the other is the, quote, Daimoku of practice, unquote. Quote, letter to Horen, unquote, Horen Sho reads, practicing the teachings of the sutra without faith is like one without hands trying to enter a jeweled mountain and pick up its treasures, or like one without feet trying to make a 1,000-mile journey. Gosho, page 814. The Daishonin teaches us that we can attain Buddhahood only when the conditions of both faith and practice are fulfilled. The 26th High Priest, Nichikan Shonin, teaches, the Daimoku of true Buddhism includes the two aspects of faith and practice. In other words, both single-mindedly believing in the Gohonzon of true Buddhism and chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo is called the Daimoku of true Buddhism. 6-volume writings, page 70 to 71. Moreover, the Gosho, quote, on the true cause, unquote, Honmyosho reads, if one earnestly and steadfastly chants Nam-myoho Renge Kyo with unwavering faith, the body of the common mortal, just as it is, becomes the Buddha's body. This is known as naturally attaining Buddhahood and all the attributes of the Buddha, eternally endowed with the three properties without discarding one's present form. Gosho, page 1679. As the Gosho expounds, both aspects of Daimoku, faith, which means to have pure, undivided faith in the Daimoku, and practice, which means to actually carry out the invocation of Daimoku with faith in the Gohonzon, are essential. Daimoku for ourselves and for others. The Daimoku of practice mentioned here does not refer merely to the chanting of Daimoku carried out as one's own practice. The Daishonin teaches in, quote, on the three great secret laws, unquote, Sandai Hihosho. There are two meanings to the Daimoku. There is the Daimoku of the former Shoho and middle days Zoho of the law, and the Daimoku of the latter day of the law, Mappo. During the age of the former days of the law, Bodhisattvas Nagarjuna and Vasubandhu secretly chanted Daimoku, yet they stopped short of revealing it. Nanyue and Tentai of the middle day of the law both chanted Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, but also did not widely spread the 5 characters to others. They kept it secret among themselves. This then is called the theoretical practice of Daimoku. Now, in the latter day of the law, the Daimoku invoked by Nichiren has never been revealed. It is the Daimoku of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, which encompasses the two practices of Jigyo and Keta, for oneself and for others. Gosho, page 1594 to 1595. The 2,000 years after Shakyamuni entered Nirvana constituted the ages of the former, Shoho, and the middle days, Zoho, of the law. During this time, it was only necessary to practice the Daimoku in theory, chanting solely for one's own attainment of Buddhahood. In contrast, the practice most valid for this age of Mappo, the latter day of the law, is the practice of Jigyo and Keta. We do not merely chant for our own individual attainment of Buddhahood. We must also teach others, widely sharing the teachings and chanting together. We must also attain Buddhahood together. The four powers of the mystic law. The power of the Buddha and the power of the law are inherent in the Gohonzon of true Buddhism inscribed by the Daishonin. One can bring forth one's powers of faith and practice by believing in the power of the Buddha and the power of the law of the Gohonzon. The fusion of the four powers of the mystic law enables one to attain Buddhahood. The Daishonin explains the benefits one receives in, quote, the conversation between a sage and an unenlightened man, unquote, Shogu Mondo Sho. When you chant only Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, can there be an offense that will remain uneradicated? Can there be a blessing that could fail to come? This is the greatest profound truth. Accept it and believe it. Gosho, page 406. Nichikan Shonin teaches in his exegesis on the true object of worship, Kanji no Honzon Sho Mondan. If one believes in this object of worship and chants the Daimoku, there is no prayer that will go unanswered, no sin that will go uneradicated, no fortune that will fail to come, and no truth that will fail to become evident. Exegesis, page 443. High Priest Nikan Shonin gave us the following guidance. As the Daishonin always teaches us in his various Gosho passages, chanting the Daimoku is to devote one's life to the Daigohonzon, the original identity of the Buddha and the ultimate essence of the doctrine of Ichinen Sanzen. It is also a true practice which enables us to attain benefits in this lifetime and the next. No prayers will go unanswered, no sins will be uneradicated, no fortune will fail to come, and no truth will fail to become evident. I truly believe that the best cause we can make in order to achieve our goals at this important time is to practice the true law with reverence for the deep compassion of the true Buddha, the Buddha who persevered through great persecutions and propagated the true law. Dai Nichiren, May 2000, page 75. The merit of chanting Daimoku is infinite and boundless. It removes the people's sufferings and gives them joy. It transforms earthly desires into virtue of Dharma body. With deep conviction in the power and the benefits of the mystic law, let us further strive to practice this true law on the firm basis of chanting Daimoku.